brought tears to my eyes. Gio and Brook Lynn's breakthrough shakes Port Charles. For all the chaos, secrets, and storm-weathered romances Port Charles has endured, nothing prepared viewers for the emotional tidal wave that crashed over General Hospital this week. In a single quiet moment, far removed from mob wars, paternity mysteries, and Cassadine curses, Gio and Brook Lynn lit up the screen with a breakthrough that left fans whispering the same thing across social media. "I'm crying. I didn't expect this." What unfolded wasn't simply a heart-to-heart. It was a rare kind of television lightning, a scene where two characters, bruised by expectations and haunted by their own shadows, finally stepped into each other's emotional truth. And for Gio and Brook Lynn, that truth was a revelation. A song that never played. The pivotal moment began in a studio where silence said more than any melody. Gio sat with his guitar in hand, shoulders tight with the weight of unspoken fears. For weeks, viewers sensed his anxiety building, his fierce devotion to music battling the insecurity that he wasn't good enough, that he didn't deserve the sudden spotlight Brook Lynn's belief had thrust him under. Brook Lynn, meanwhile, watched him with a mix of frustration and protectiveness. She had seen too many people with talent let opportunity slip away. Her own experiences, the manipulative managers, the stolen songs, the long road back to believing she deserved success, made her desperate to help him avoid the same fate. But she hadn't known how to reach him. Until now. Gio's voice cracked as he finally confessed what had been holding him back. "I'm scared, BLQ. Everyone sees something in me, but what if I can't live up to it?" The vulnerability in his tone stunned her. This wasn't the confident young artist she'd been pushing forward. This was someone terrified of disappointing her, terrified of failing, terrified of being seen. And Brook Lynn, who had once built walls so high not even Chase could scale them, felt something in her chest shift. "You don't have to be perfect," she whispered. "You just have to be you. That's enough. It's always been enough." It was simple, honest, unscripted in the best way. Brook Lynn's turning point. What made this moment so powerful wasn't only Gio's emotional crack, it was Brook Lynn's. For so long she'd carried her fierceness like armor. Whether she was defying Valentin, fighting for her music career, or protecting her family, Brook Lynn had learned to survive by staying loud, sharp, and unshakable. But with Gio, she softened. Not because he needed her strength, but because he needed her truth. She confessed something she had never told him. "When I look at you, I see the part of myself I almost let go of. The part that believed music mattered, that I mattered. You brought that back for me." For a moment, Gio looked at her as if seeing her for the first time. Not the boss, not the quartermain, not the woman who could bulldoze through a record label executive just by arching an eyebrow. He saw Brook Lynn, the girl who once wrote songs in secret notebooks, the woman who nearly lost her voice but kept singing anyway. And the air between them shifted from mentorship to something deeper, something family-like, something soul-deep. A hug that broke Port Charles. When Gio stood and wrapped his arms around her, viewers reported everything from goosebumps to ugly crying on the couch. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't sensationalized. It was human. It was two people finding each other at exactly the right time in their lives. Brook Lynn closed her eyes, resting her forehead against his shoulder, as though letting go of every lingering regret and doubt she'd carried since the day she gave up her music. Gio let himself lean into someone who believed in him without conditions. And that's when the magic happened. Broken pieces clicked into place. A new bond was forged, one of the most emotionally grounded relationships GH has built in years. The aftershock across Port Charles. The breakthrough didn't end in the studio. Word spread quickly, not through gossip but through energy. Chase noticed the change in Brook Lynn immediately. For the first time in weeks, her smile wasn't forced. It reached her eyes. Meanwhile, at the Quartermain mansion, Lois sensed something had shifted the moment Gio walked through the door. He carried himself differently, lighter, taller, like someone who finally believed in his future instead of fearing it. Even Olivia, who had been quietly worried about the pressure Gio was under, found herself wiping tears as Gio told her. Brooklyn helped me believe I can do this. And somewhere, still adjusting to the strange balance of his Eddie Main memories and his restored identity, felt that familiar ripple of pride knowing music was once again healing someone he cared about. The fans react, a collective crying session. Social platforms across the GH fandom erupted almost instantly. What began as a few emotional posts multiplied into a tidal wave of heartfelt reactions. Gio and BLQ hugging. I'm done. That was beautiful. This is why I watch soaps. Not the stunts, not the villains, this. Brook Lynn being vulnerable. I'm shaking. Amanda Seton just broke my heart. Gio's speech. I didn't expect it to hit that hard. Viewers praised GH for investing in character-driven storytelling, something that often gets overshadowed by big twists and shocking cliffhangers. This was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful scenes are the quiet ones. Many also pointed out how rare and refreshing it is to see a platonic, generational, emotional bond portrayed with such care. No ulterior motives, no romantic implication, just connection. In an era when Port Charles is packed with villains, secrets, and betrayals, fans embrace the simplicity of pure emotional honesty. What comes next? The breakthrough opens countless doors for both characters. For Gio, it marks the true beginning of his musical journey, a transformation from insecurity to purpose. With Brook Lynn guiding him not as a manager, but as someone who knows his heart, his path feels more grounded than ever. For Brook Lynn, this moment may spark a deeper storyline about reclaiming her passion for songwriting. The spark she thought she'd lost is back, and fans can already imagine her and Gio collaborating, creating something new, something meaningful. And for Port Charles, it gets something rare, hope, a scene that will be remembered. In a world filled with dramatic twists, Gio and Brook Lynn's breakthrough stood out because it was small, real, and deeply human. It touched viewers not with shock, but with sincerity. It reminded fans why General Hospital remains a daytime powerhouse after more than 60 years. Because at its core, it's not about villains or cliffhangers. It's about people finding each other when they need it most. And that's why, for so many fans, the only words they could find after watching were, "It brought tears to my eyes."